welcome to Keep It Spiritual with myself, Chris Meredith. Now, first of all, remember to subscribe and give us a massive thumbs up. Now, in this interview, I bring you the beautiful Maria Afentakis. Now, Maria herself is a cancer research scientist, has got all those qualifications as well, absolutely loves science, but at the same time, loves spirituality. So Maria herself is really bridging that gap of spirituality and science, which sometimes is forgotten. And of course as well, the lovely Maria is right now a published author with her new book, which is called The Spiritual Scientist. It's a fabulous book. First of all, it's so simplistic. You don't need to be a scientist or even have a scientific degree or even a GCSE to understand this book. Maria is basically and simplistically showing you how science meets spirituality and how really science backs up angels, communication, meditation. And one thing I love about Maria as well, she's a channel of Albert Einstein and she's an incarnated angel. What are you waiting for? Here is the lovely Maria Afentakis talking all about the spiritual scientist. Enjoy. Great to have your company as always. How are you doing, sweetie?
I'm doing well, thank you. Chris, how are you?
Love it, love it, love your energy as well. We were just talking about your peacock as well behind you. I know you've really set the scene today, Maria, as well. So, first of all, you're known as the spiritual scientist, Maria, and bridging that gap between science and spirituality. And of course, you're a research scientist as well. So when did your spiritual journey begin, Maria?
Well, my actual spiritual awakening happened about 3 years ago, but I was always drawn to working with the angels. My mum used to do tarot card readings and crystal ball readings with her friends, and I was always like, I want to join in, but like my mum's like, no, you're too young for that. So when I was my teen, she bought me a angel card deck. So then I just started to use that and just do readings for my friends. And then it just went from there really. And my friends were like, your readings are really good. Maybe you should do it publicly. So it took me a while actually to get into the spiritual side, because obviously I was very academic at school. I did the GCSE, science GCSEs, A levels, degrees and everything else, and I was sort of saying, how can I be both? But as time went on, I was like, well, I can be a scientist and do spiritual work, and that's why I'm bridging the gap between both. So then in 2017 I went to the amazing Glastonbury on a retreat, and then that was it.
I love it. Where did you go in Glastonbury for the retreat?
Yeah, so the retreat we went to, it was a retreat combining, balancing the divine feminine and divine masculine energies.
Yeah.
So it did everything, the chalice well, the abbey, the tour. So it was just but the whole time I was there, I had a terrible headache. So I think something was going on spiritually as well. And also I started to remember past times in Glastonbury.
Yeah, of course. So I mean, because the energy, I've never been to Glastonbury.
Oh, you have to go.
I know. There's the beautiful Daisy Foss that I've interviewed many times on the channel, and she's got her Daisy centres there, and that's what she does. She does the retreats. You go there, and it's kind of like a spiritual awakening. If you need to go somewhere to kind of open up, it's kind of like the perfect place, Glastonbury. But I suppose the energy, is supposed to be like nothing else.
It's very intense, and as soon as you get to Avalon, you've gone into another portal. You're in another dimension, because you just forget about who you are, where you are. I went there for the day last Friday with my friends, and we was just your mind just goes crazy. I had to go, but because of obviously traveling, we went by car, so it was quite a long way.
Yeah.
We passed Stonehenge, so Stonehenge has also got a very strong, deep connection. But so then I did angelic Reiki. You could probably see. So I've got quite a few certificates.
I can see them.
There's angelic Reiki, Atlantean healing. I'm also a qualified and registered animal healer and communicator.
Oh, so that's why Bert's joined us. That's
Bert, I could do some distance healing for Bert if he ever needs it, or he's naughty, or But at the moment, I'm specialising in separation anxiety with the animals, because, you know, a lot of people are starting to go back to work.
Yep.
And like the dog would have had, that dog or cat would have had them there for like the whole time. And now they're like, okay, see you later, Bert, I'm off, you know. And then the dogs are like, well, what's going on? Like, where are you going? You know.
How dare you? You've been here all this time and now you've left me. What have I done?
And they get really stressed and get anxiety.
Yeah.
And also, like, this is another sort of scientific fact as well. Like, there's been reports on how the animals are like, you know, they could be in the perfect home, but they will still get this anxiety. So, you know, I want to do that as well.
Good for people to know that. It is, and it's, you know, timely as well, because it is something, you know, animals will suffer, you know, during this time, and it's nice to have someone to go to, you know, for that separation anxiety, because it is a thing, and we all see it. And even say, my Bert, even going out, he'll sit near the door and be like, where do you think you're going? You're not going anywhere without me. And then that's what we try and do. We try and bring him, you know, as many places as we can with us.
Yeah, you have to. But I mean, the main thing, that's what a spiritual scientist has come out, because really you need to balance the guardian's energy and, you know, the parents of the animal's energy first. The spiritual scientist gives you techniques. You know, you can do the techniques every day and you'll still feel, you know, you can still start to like feel better in yourself and work with the crystals and the oils and
everything in it. Well, you mentioned it there, Maria, you know, your new book, which is called The Spiritual Scientist. I mean, it's such a beautiful book. I love the feel of the book as well. It's quality. I've got a lot of books, and you know when you get a quality book. So first of all, Maria, what was the inspiration, you know, for, you know, the beautiful Spiritual Scientist book?
Yeah, so I don't know if you know about the College of Psychic Studies in London.
I do.
Yeah, okay. So I did a course there with these two ladies, and it was about angels actually. And so every week we'd work with a different archangel, and then I don't know, they were giving me like little pictures. Oh yeah, you're going to write a book. And I was like, don't be silly, this is not going to happen. Like, I was at the Marsden actually, which was in Chelsea. So literally I used to finish work in Chelsea and go to the college, which is like a 10-minute walk away. So it's really weird how it was all meant to happen that way. I was meant to go to the college and learn. And then, like, my angel teacher there, she said, you're going to write a book. And I was like, don't be silly. How am I going to write a book? When am I going to get the time? And then, like, on the retreat, Steve Noble, you probably know him.
I do. He's been on the channel as well. I know everything.
Yeah, he said to me, on the retreat, he said to me, Maria, you're going to be, you are the spiritual scientist. I was like, seriously? Okay. He said, you are. So basically from that point, I was like, right, I'm going to write this book on the spiritual science and scientists. And then it just sort of builded up. I was doing courses about crystals and oils and, you know, gaining my knowledge. Because what I want to say, everything in the book, obviously the science is like, I had to use a bit of references just to clarify, but everything has been channeled in that book with the help of Professor Albert Einstein.
I love that. I love it. I love when I read that. I mean, that's so, you know, magical that you've actually, you know, channeled from the great Albert Einstein.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, because it was like stop, like, because basically he came in. It was a full moon. I don't know what it's called, but it was in January. It was a full moon. And then that night, 3 o'clock in the morning, I was just sitting there looking at the moon, and then like he just comes in. I was looking at his picture, and he's like, then he gave me, you've read the whole channeled message, which is in the book. And then I was like, okay, so I better get cracking then. And then, then it just sort of, once you start, the thing is with writing, once you start, it's just starting, because now he's like, you know, you've got more books to write, like what you're waiting for. So the next, you know, I'm trying to like organize the next stage, but it's quite hard to know where to go, what to do next. But I think it will definitely be with the animals. So while I was writing the book, I did a whole year diploma with Elizabeth Whitehart in animal healing and communication. And also I was working full time. So 2019 was just mental, basically. So I think
You've still
I
got
actually
the bills,
needed
haven't you?
lockdown to like relax, basically.
Just to kind of put the brakes on a bit. I mean, but that's one thing with you, Maria. You know, you brought out the book, you know, Spiritual Scientist, and one thing I love about it, it's a bit of a, you know, a workbook. You can work with it, you can journal with it as well, and you've got your meditation sections in there. You've got, you know, there's so many different things and elements, you know, that you've brought in one book, which is just magical. I absolutely love it, and it's such a modern book. But you know, was it difficult, you know, putting pen to paper, you know, for you?
Yeah, I mean, some parts of it was quite hard because obviously with the science, like I've got a master's in neuroscience, so the level, you know, I wanted to make sure it was easy for people to understand. I wanted to actually ask you, did you find the science bits easy to understand? Was it all right, or did you
No,
feel?
it really was. No, 100%,
Okay.
and that's
I'm
one
really
thing with
happy
me.
about that.
No, 1000%, and because if it's too jargony, it'll just go straight up my head.
Exactly, yeah.
The way that you've written it, and this is important for people to understand as well, you know, it is called The Spiritual Scientist, but you don't have to have a degree in science to understand the book. You can just be a novice. Just, you know, everyone's done science in school, so that's enough. But you've put it in simplistic terms where even I can understand, Maria. So, you know, thank you for that.
Excellent. Yeah, so the sort of science bit was a bit harder. But obviously the spiritual aspects were quite, you know, like I practice everything in the book is what I practice myself. So I wanted to help others achieve what I achieve, you know. But the main thing is getting connected with the elements and nature, you know, and animals, and this was like the main message. But I also wanted to bring it across, like, you know, as a scientist as well. Like I can't be like all cuckoo. Oh yeah, you know, I'm flying away with the fairies all the time. And the science is grounding me as well, because I find being a scientist actually grounds me. Otherwise, I would be up and away all the time.
But that's what we need, though, sometimes. And one thing I love about it as well, for any kind of, you know, skeptics out there, and, you know, people that are kind of like, oh, it's a load of phooey and all that kind of stuff, you know, you're accredited scientist. You know, you've brought the science aspect in with that spirituality, which I just love. So it's kind of like the missing link, really, which you brought was in a book.
Yeah, and also like the main thing as well is bridging the gap between opposites as well. So also the divine feminine, divine masculine. Like a lot of men are not very spiritual, you know, they've got that, it's just basically how they sort of think and how they've been brought up. So the book was, you know, wanting to bridge the gap, so to help them understand. And actually I had this guy, which I was quite shocked, he sent me a message on Instagram, said, I've bought your book and it's amazing. This guy's a personal trainer, so when you see him, you know, like, okay, he's proper masculine, you know, you can tell, right? And I was like, okay, he's reading The Spiritual Scientist, that is amazing. And like, he's really into it, and he's like, you know, I'm going to write a review. And I said, okay, I'm going to send you like a little mini aura spray. And you know, so this is what I want to do. I want to open it up. You know, this book is just for, the other thing is the audience is everyone, you know. The first person that bought the book was my friend's daughter. Well, her mum bought it, obviously, 7 years old. And she's like, I want Maria's book. And she says she has it with her and sleeps with the book by her bed. So even if the children are just looking at the pictures and reading bits of it, it's really important, because obviously, as you know, this high anxiety and high depression is very seen now, especially in children. And but I do want to do a book for the children as well. Something else that you might find interesting is I'm doing a school called Maria School of Alchemy, Magic and Science for the children.
Wow.
So I have like five or six children at the moment. So I do lessons about elements. We talk about, like, for example, water, we talk about the mermaids. So, you know, like, I'm already starting to work with them. And the parents are like, oh, the children can't wait for their next lesson. I was like, oh God. I'm doing too many things, Chris, that's the thing. I'm also like designing my own oracle card deck, which I want to go alongside The Spiritual Scientist. So
it's beautiful. Well, you're very, very busy with everything there, Maria. But, you know, I'm sure, you know, everything that you're doing is meant and, you know, will just be magical. And it's nice that you're kind of ticking everyone off, because one thing I love, you know, about the book, and like you've just said there, you know, your work is for everyone. So animals, children, you know, all of the human race, you know, and that's one thing, you know, you don't have to be a certain way or a certain person, or have had to go and meditate for years to appreciate your work that you've brought us. You know, anyone can just connect with it.
It's very interesting, because about a month ago I was on Radio Bristol, which was really scary. I was like, oh my God, I'm on the Radio Bristol. And then, like, for them to be interested, most of the time they interview like bestsellers, and you know, and I was like, so this guy, like,
you are a bestseller.
Okay.
You are. Put yourself in that category, please, Maria. Get rid of that. You are. It's amazing.
Yeah. So, you know, it's all like everything's going quite fast, you know. So there's a lot of things.
So it should, and I'm sure it'll go even faster as well. And one thing I need to talk to you about as well, Maria, which when I was reading up about you, and obviously within the book as well, you've mentioned it, is about, you know, you being an incarnated angel. I mean, I absolutely love that. I mean, so what a beautiful way, you know, I've never heard anyone really say that before. And of course, there's many, many, you know, incarnated people in the world from different, you know, star beings and your star seeds. And, you know, tell me a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so this was quite interesting, because I mean, I only found out about 3 years ago when I started this work. And it actually, when I did angelic Reiki, so obviously I was like drawn to do a lot of working with the angels continuously. And I just loved working with them. And then when I was doing the healing for like the recipient, when we were training, I used to get a pain in my shoulder blades. And it was like, what's going on? And when I was going into meditation, I could see my wings trying to break through. And it was really strange. I was like, this is weird. Like, it's quite funny, because yesterday I watched, I don't know if you've seen it, it's called Michael. And it's about an Archangel Michael. It's quite an old film. It's got John Travolta in it. But it's like, I was just like, I need to watch this film, because it really reminds me, like, how, you know, because you're put on this earth in this body, but as an angel, I'm like, I've got beautiful wings and I can move around, but I feel stuck. So yeah, I was watching, so it's quite interesting. And then so I was doing that, and I was like, okay, I didn't really think anything of it. And then I had a channeled message from this lady called Sharon Prince from America, and I went to a few of her workshops. And she said, you know, in her message, she said, you know, I know you've always had a fascination with angels and working with them. But she said, do you actually know you're an incarnated angel? And I was like, okay, what's she talking about? You know, then things go a bit cuckoo. I was like, what's she talking about? And then she said that I'm confirmed from the angels and Archangel Michael, who is my dad. I was like, okay, great. Thanks for bringing me here. Cheers, Dad. You know, I could be flying around and playing music with my, you know, my cats and my animals, and he's like, put me here again. You know, I've been here like thousands of times, and he's like, right, because this was a major thing. You know, that I was born like the time period I was born to coincide with 2020 and this new age thing that's happening. And basically, so she said that you're like a messenger for the angels. So the other big key thing is, the book is, because I'm an angel, so angels are messengers. So it's basically bringing the message across for people to, like, it's basically what an incarnate angel means is someone that's here to bring peace and harmony to you know, to life, to society, and it involves everyone. Like you said, the animals, the plants, the trees. You know, it's very, very important. And then, like, she did a few. You know, I had quite a few other sort of messages from her. And then, like, I've always felt Archangel Michael around me and Archangel Raphael, because I do the healing. And one day I was just walking in the park, and my friend and her other friend, who's quite spiritual, both scientists as well. It's weird. There's a lot of scientists that are actually spiritual. Her friend said that she could see she could see white feathers dropping from my aura. And she said that to my friend. She said, is she an incarnated angel? My friend was like, oh my God, how do you know? And this is what she actually saw. And I was like, okay, like in the movie, this is what happens to him. He keeps dropping his feathers everywhere because he's in a human body. But obviously you don't know, you know, you don't realise that because, like, you know, I mean, it might sound a bit crazy to people, but as incarnated there's incarnated star beings, there's fairies, there's like everything, elves, and you know, a lot of them haven't awakened yet, you know.
I love it. I absolutely love it, Maria. And when I read that, I was like, yes, you know, but it's such a beautiful, you know, way. And it's the timings, you know, I believe everything is, you know, divine timing. And it is now, you know, you said you're there for the ascension, for the awakening. Some people are wakening up, some people haven't yet. And, you know, to have, you know, incarnated angels like yourself, you know, here available for people, you know, it's needed now more than ever.
Yeah, I think that's what's happened.
I do as well.
So I'm stuck here for a bit, unfortunately.
Well, I'm glad you are. I'm very, very glad you are that we could have had this conversation. I love it. Absolutely love it, Maria. Got to talk about as well. You talk about the 13 chakras, you know, in the book.
Yeah.
Normally, everyone just alludes to the 7 chakras, and you talk about the stellar gateway chakra. Now that one for me, for some reason, when I was going through the book, you know, really just kind of got me. I was like, oh, I want to know a little bit more about that chakra. So, you know, first of all, why do you think the other chakras aren't talked about enough? You know, why is it always just 7?
Yeah, so basically, from my logo, I basically channeled this image, and I've got this amazing guy. Like my logo designer, he created the 13 chakras. So this comes back from Atlantis, the ancient land of Atlantis, and they would use the 13 chakra system when they did the healing. So the Atlanteans were able to see the chakras, like, and they could see the aura, and they could see everything. So this is really coming from that. And the extra ones that I'm talking about, the 6 extra ones, are what we call ascension ones. So some people's will be activated. For example, the Earth Star chakra, which is just below your feet. Once it's activated, it will glow like a magenta color, like a beautiful pink color. And this will give you your connection to the earth, and also remind you, it will take you through past lives as well. And, you know, in the book, I don't know what happened. One day, it just took me back to Atlantis, and I just had to write about Atlantis, my story of Atlantis. And so and then you've got the other ones. So all of the new ones are more related with much more spirituality and more ascension. So moving up your spiritual path. So the stellar gateway, obviously, is like your gate, you know, it looks like a gateway to higher conscious, you know, it's like basically connecting to the universe, divine feminine, divine masculine, all the energies. So, you know, and the Sosa chakra as well, which I wear, it's like the Merkaba. So basically, this is about your soul. So this is quite important because obviously it's going to go back to what you've experienced before in other lives, and also what you're going to experience now. So it helps you remember who you are as well. And it's really important with your transformation stage. So since 2017, I've been going through a massive transformation, and I'm always surrounding myself with amethyst. I mean, my guardian dragon, Tabitha, she's violet, you know. My unicorn's got a violet amethyst horn. I just bought this beautiful amethyst fairy from Glasgow, and some amethyst runes, you know. So, you know, so it's like, okay, because they're like saying to me, you know, this is too much for you, so you need to go through this transformation change. And what I say to people is that if you do all the exercises in the book, you can actually activate. That's what the whole point was, adding them in, so people can just use the book and activate these chakras themselves. So the whole thing really is a self-help book, because, you know, like people are like, oh yeah, I can teach you this, I can teach you that, but everyone was like, well, I've been asked for people if I could be doing like some mentoring sessions with them. Yeah. So I want to devise them. But obviously, so everything's going to come from the book, really, you know, the card deck. I'm also devising an online course again to sort of go with the book. So, you know, this book is like, it's like a spider diagram, you know, it's in the middle, and then it's got all these branches.
It's a great foundation which to grow from. And one thing, you know, Maria, I really love about it is kind of how, you know, energy works in harmony with science. And That's one thing that really comes through with the book, because, you know, there's so many spiritual books out there, but they leave the science aspect out, which I think, you know, it is needed, and it's so apparent in your book. And I just think people have really, really connected with it.
Yeah, that's right. It's like, well, that's what it is. It's also because it's basically combined. It's basically linking your left brain with your right brain. You know, your logical mind and your mathematical mind with your sort of imagination and spiritual side. But what it is, it's a complete pairing together and a complete balance. You know, it's like not one extreme of the to the other, and that's what the whole thing to balance yourself is, to make sure like everything is in line. And I work a lot with the elements, bit of alchemy, you know. So I do a lot of elements work, and I find like the 4 elements are really important as well in balancing your energy, and connecting to earth, because people have lost that, you know, the humans have lost that. You know, I'm not saying like, okay, I know I'm an incarnated angel, but I am actually having a human life as well. So I appreciate that, but you know, that's why they've sent me here, because it's like reminding them, you know, connect to the sun, connect to the moon, connect to the 4 elements, connect to like nature, you know, because I've had phone calls from people saying, you know, since lockdown's been easing, I feel dreadful. And I was like, what, have you been going for your daily walks? No. Have you been going for your daily exercise? No. So actually lockdown in a way was good, because they said, right, you can go out for 1 hour. And everybody was going out in nature. They were running around, you know. Now Boris is saying everybody's like overweight, like everyone. Do you understand what I mean? And it's like, because now you see people going to the park, they're just sunbathing. They're not exercising, not connected to nature. They're drinking and smoking. Okay. You know,
appreciating. And I think, you know, through lockdown, it forced us to appreciate, you know, nature. You know, the joys of nature, going, you know, to the sea, you know, and just being out, you know, in the air, you know, that really made us kind of think. But it's, you know, I just hope, you know, that we kind of coming out of it, you know, bit by bit, that all that's not going to be lost, and people are going to take with them, you know, those kind of, you know, habits, them good habits that we got into. But
well, that's why I'm here.
Good.
Because I know I'm going to be on the TV and everywhere, so people can't run away from me. The spiritual scientist is going to be, it's just going to be embedded. I mean, I'm getting people contacting me they're not good at science or spirituality. They're just like, my publisher said I've got this magnetic energy, and she's like, you know, she says people are just going to come to you, like who needs to hear the stuff. And in a way it's quite good, because like before I was like, okay, I've got to fly to America, I've got to fly there, but now we can do Zoom. I mean, you know,
yeah, you don't have to, you can do it from your own front room.
Yeah, everybody's like, this is what everybody's doing now. I mean, even Oprah, even like, I want to be on her show, you know, all these people, I'll just do it like this, I'll be like, hi, you know. So it's like, it's quite good in a way, because like you said, you know, we're getting the message across. And actually in Atlantis, you know, they were very like, they weren't just good at science, but they were also very good with technology for their time, and they used like clear quartz crystals and everything, you know. So it's interesting how a lot of the stuff that's happening, and basically I think what we're going through is actually this big disaster, what happened in Atlantis, to bring forward the new sort of energy and the new people, the new sort of higher dimensional, you know, frequencies. And because you got to do it gradually. Basically, this is what I've been told. You know, this is what they tell me. It's like, we can't just do it, bang, we've done. It's going to be gradually.
It can't be done overnight. It would be a bit of a shock, wouldn't it?
Yeah, can you imagine? It's like, right, you're on 5 dimension now. Like, okay, I'm always on the 11th dimension anyway. So
I didn't prepare for that at all. Didn't prepare for it. It is funny right there. And Maria, as well, you know, you mentioned before at the beginning of the interview, you know, animal communication, you know, it's really, really close to your heart. You know, you can communicate, you know, with animals on many, many levels. I know, you know, I want to know from you, you know, what's it like, you know, helping, you know, the animal kingdom in their time of need?
Oh, I love it. You know, I love working with them, because when I work with the animals, they actually give a lot back. So what people don't seem to realize is, well, some people know, but they work on unconditional love, the frequency of unconditional love and love. That is their frequency. So that's like the highest frequency you could be, basically. And they're so grateful. So when you do healing, you know, it's like when you give Bert a bone, you know, he's so excited. He's like, wow, this is amazing. But like, you don't realize to the extent how he's like, how grateful they are. And they're really, really grateful. And I just love that energy. I just love being in the presence. But when the problem is, because I'm an incarnated angel, I will get all the sorrow as well. So I did I had to help this cat. So I'm also specialized in bereavement and also helping the animal pass over. So I was assisting with this, and I was crying my eyes out the whole time. And I was like, because I could just feel the pain, you know. But then once he was released, he was so like peaceful, and I could feel the peace, and I could feel the angels taking him. And it's just like I know I'm here to help them as well. Like really, like I feel like I'll be doing a lot more healing with the animals and maybe their guardians, because I much rather work with with the animals. Because the thing is, I used to do like events where I do like 15 minutes angelic Reiki healing, and I used to do that the whole day. So come home and just really, really, really got really unwell. Because basically what it does, you take on all the energy and it comes onto your chakras. And the solar plexus chakra was the one that was mainly blocked.
There you are.
Hello.
He's like crying at me. There you are. Look, there you go.
I think he's a dirty chick because of my energy. Animals are like that.
There you go.
Me
Look, there's Maria. Look.
Hello.
Are you happy now? Hey, don't give me daddy any space. Monkey man. See, that's Maria. There we go. She's saying hi. You wanted to be in the interview, lovely. You've seen her. She works with animals, many animals. There you are. There you go. You want Daddy to put you back on the bed? There we go.
I'm sure Bert start talking to me soon as well.
I think he's been talking to you all the way through the interview. I've had to be stroking him. I've been doing it so he doesn't bark.
Because that's what happens. As soon as my channel opens, like all the animals, they can't wait their turn, so they all come jumping in.
It's like, hello, I'm here.
It's like, I'm next. It's like, all right, calm down.
Oh, Maria, I absolutely love you. So, Maria, what is next for you?
So the next thing is on my great adventure. Just still working with the spiritual scientists, just really bringing out different things related to it, other products, you know, that like the books, and I need to start writing the animal book as well.
That'd be lovely.
There's another thing that I am thinking of doing as well, is like doing, because I've worked in cancer research, so thinking about doing some sort of book with disease as well to help people, because obviously like we as a healer, as a Reiki practitioner, but as a scientist as well, you know, this alternative stuff is good for like your mental health, but it is necessary to have treatments. The problem is we can't, you know, until we haven't got to that stage where we can literally just cure cancer. And I always say, as a scientist, so it's quite good because I can give a medical perspective and also the spiritual stuff, which, because I know a lot of people suffer from cancer, you know, and basically they ring me up and like I actually give them a healing session, but I always say to them, you know, you still need to take the medication because this will help you until we find something better, you know.
Of course, but it's a perfect balance, though. I think, Maria. I think you know it would be nice, you know, for people that are, you know, going through that. Of course, you know, stay, you know, with the medication, you know, the doctor's advice, but then to have the spiritual side, you know, with you. You know, I think, you know, that's a perfect balance there.
So that might be another sort of thing I'm going to be working on, right?
Yeah, and one thing that hasn't really been done. So, you know, keep doing these new things. I love it. I absolutely love it, Maria. It's so refreshing to read and to see. And you know, I'm not a person of science at all, but the way that you've written the book has really connected with me and my soul. So you know, it will all around the world, and you'll go up and up and up.
It's great. It's all exciting. Yeah. It's quite exciting actually, because it's like, you know, it's taken time. I mean, the only thing that is upsetting is because we weren't able to do a book launch and anything like that. But I think, like you said, it's probably because it happened at the right time. And then I think now all this stuff easing off and possible second wave, and I think the book is much more needed like now, and I think it will be. I'm sure I have like a lot of sort of people contacted me for like TV and stuff. So I don't know. We'll have to wait and see how other people are like taking to it. But also it's an easy, it's a self-help book. And the other thing is, it's your own journey. Every person that reads it will have their own spiritual journey with it, and it's help. So, even if you're like a Reiki practitioner, you could read it to get the science aspects over, and then the other way, vice versa. If you're like new to spiritual practice, you can incorporate and understand why it works or how it works. So, basically it's a book for all.
It really is. It is. I couldn't have put it any better myself.
You can even read it. You can read it to the dog as well. He might enjoy it now.
He does love it. He's never been as forward coming as this interview. Anyway, I can tell you that he's never wanted to crash an interview before, Maria. So I've got to say thank you, so much for taking the time today to speak to me, Maria. It's been a pleasure to find out about your book, The Spiritual Scientist, and of course about you and your journey. And of course Bert is going crazy on the bed now, so he's very, very happy as well. To you. Well, thank you for being on Keep It Spiritual.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, darling. Speak soon.
Thank you. Bye.
There we are. That was a lovely Maria Afentakis right there. What a woman as well. And of course, remember, she does animal communication. She's a scientist, and of course, she's a worldwide healer. And she's got this fabulous new book out, which is called The Spiritual Scientist. If you want to know anything about the lovely Maria Afentakis, everything is in the description below. So go and check her out now. So I've got to say a massive thank you so much for watching the whole video. Make sure as well you give us a massive thumbs up and you subscribe, because you don't want to miss a video. And remember, keep it spiritual. I've been Chris Meredith, and keep safe, keep well, love and light. See you later.